right, welcome everyone. Thank you for coming. Don't be nervous. This is going to be fun. All the questions are easy, don't worry. So yeah, we're going to start with some opening statements. So just introduce yourselves, say whatever you want to like open the session. It can be about anything. And you guys are each going to have 1 minute to do that. Melissa's going to be showing her fingers once you are running out of time. But yeah, so could I have Benji start? Yeah, just speak in the mic.
Cool. So yeah, hey guys, my name's Benji, back Benji, and I'm running on a policy that really wants to focus on trying to reduce the cost of living crisis, whether that's by reducing bus fares, bringing bursary back to pre-2024 levels. And I'm also running on a platform that wants to foster connections with the university, so I'm trying to bring people together, whether that's through societies or through a promotion of like live music, whether that's bands or DJs at the SU. I also feel like we have to give more importance on mental health, increase the number of mental health trained staff, and not neglect the international and postgraduate students at the university. If elected, I hope to represent every single student, and I hope I can count on you to back Benji. Cheers.
Amazing, thank you so much. Oh, claps, very nice, lovely. Then could I move on to Cleo?
£100. £100 a month that could be spent on heating your home or 4 weekly food shops instead is being spent on the mere necessity of a healthy and nutritious lunch on campus. I'm Cleo Batchelor. I'm a Spanish and politics student, and affordability is a huge part of my campaign. Vote Cleo for community if you want accessibility, security, affordability, and international integration. Thank you.
Perfect, thank you so much. Then Jess?
Thank you. Hello everyone, I'm Jess. I'm a final year sociology and social policy student. I'm also really involved in the SU. I've been involved in the SU since the beginning, so you may have seen me around. I'm currently sitting on 6 different SU committees, as well as being the chair of DAG, so definitely a busy bee this year. My campaign was really created with students for students, so focusing on the change that you want to see in your SU and in your university. The 3 things I'm focusing on are accessibility, sustainability and support. My determination to foster these values over the past 3 years is my guarantee that I will continue to do that if elected as your community officer.
Perfect, very well done. Thank you so much. Mariana?
So hi everyone, I am Mariana. I'm really excited to be here today standing for community officer. I believe in the power of community and the transformative impact it can have in your university experience as an international student. I've been lucky enough to have profited from tools, societies and events the university has to offer. And I recognize some areas for improvement and to grow together stronger. So far, my journey at the university has been marked by developed commitment, inclusivity, diversity, collaboration, and well-being. I've been actively engaged in student-led initiatives as PAL leader for Spanish. And volunteering experiences. Oh, sorry.
No, perfect. Thank you so much. You just ran out of time,
Sorry.
but that was really good. Thank you so much. Yeah, I think Melissa's gonna like raise her hands when people are. I think this means like 10 seconds, and then time over. No, but that was good. Thank you. And then Martina.
Hi everyone, I'm Martina, and I'm super excited to be here and run for the community officer alongside with the other very good candidates, so it should be very fun this year. I am very happy to run for the position because I'm all about hearing your voice and translating your voice and concerns into the actions that you guys want to see. My main focuses are mental health, integrating international students, and in general improving the quality of life at university. But I want to go much more beyond that, and if you would like some more insights, check out my manifesto, and yeah, follow up for more.
Perfect. Thank you so much. You guys all did amazingly, so no need to be nervous. We're going to move into the questions. So you will each have 1 minute to answer the questions, and there will be like a randomized order who goes first. I didn't make the table, so. So the first question is, what do you believe is the single most important issue that the community officer for 24-25 will need to prioritize? Cleo.
So, on first reflection, as I've previously mentioned, for me, this is having an affordable life at Bath, because being able to afford good food on campus, being able to afford to enjoy the things you like to do every day, impacts the way that you make friends. It impacts your mental health. It feeds into so much more of life. So as community officer, that would be the single most important thing for me. I want to work to reduce the cost of especially lunch on campus, provide a wider range of healthy and nutritious meals, and work to keep travel costs and housing prices down so that we can all carry on enjoying the things that we love to do here at Bath.
Perfect, amazing. Thank you so much. Jess. No.
Sorry, everyone. I think that's a really important question. I think that for me, I think the most important thing that the community officer can focus on is belonging. You know, the university for years now has been using the tagline #BelongAtBath, but we're looking at students and we're thinking, you know, a lot of them don't feel like they belong here, whether it's international students really struggling to settle into life, whether it's postgrads not being able to get involved in as many societies as possible, whether it's disabled students not having the access they need and deserve. You know, students are consistently being neglected, and it's students from these minority groups that are consistently suffering. As community officer, that is something that I would love to prioritise, is getting access for everyone and being as inclusive as possible so that everyone can really feel like they belong at Bath.
Amazing, thank you so much. Could I please have Mariana go next? Oh yeah, just pass along the microphone, sorry.
Okay. So I would prioritize mental health and well-being, and that would be through community. I think community, it's a big part of my personality and what I've experienced in Bath. So I would like to give those tools that university already has to offer and just improve them, make them more attractive, like the support center, the PAL leader experiences, and make them students get more proactive to improve their university experience.
Perfect, amazing, thank you so much. Could I please have Martina next?
Right, so for me, one of the most important issue is also well-being and mental health, but I would like to expand and say that there's a lot of talk about how to socialize and make lots of friends at uni, but sometimes you still find yourself, you know, walking around campus on your own, and that's why I want to like create a space on campus that would, at any time, anyone could just pop in and then reset, relax, and make new friends in a very non-loud or like party-heavy environment. And also, I would like to continue working with organizations and resources that are already provided by university. That includes the Nightline, Student Minds, or the free therapy sessions. But I would like to make those resources way more accessible and promoted. And on top of that, I would like to create an online platform for anonymous feedback so that the quality of those services is constantly adjusted to the personal needs of all students.
Perfect, thank you so much. Sorry, I'm actually trying to figure out Melissa's signs. I just keep getting confused as well. But Benji, you're next.
Cool. So I feel like for a question like this, it's important to look at what the student body has told us and what they've been saying. And it's very clear. Bath Times did an interview just the other week, and they were telling us that the issue that they're concerned about the most when it comes to community is making friends. And that is one of the key elements of my platform, is being able to allow people to make friends. Following on from that, I feel like another main issue that is very much vocal, whether that's within the politics, Bulu society, is the cost of living crisis. The decrease of bursaries from pre-2024 levels and the increase of U1, which is essentially price gouging, is insane. And I feel like that should be a main concern for anyone elected as community officer.
Perfect, some very, very good answers. Well done, everyone. We're going to move on to the next question, which is, tell us what you think you would bring to the role, drawing on both your previous experiences and general knowledge of what it is like to be a student in higher education. Can I have Jess go first?
Yeah, amazing, thank you. I've been really lucky that over the last 3 years I've been really involved in the SU, so I've been everything from peer mentor, PAL leader, academic rep, chair of a society. You know, I mentioned earlier about sitting on 6 different SU committees, but that's really meant that I've had a lot of experience with a wide variety of different people. I've worked with students of all different ages, backgrounds. I've worked with the SU officers, I've worked with SU staff, I've worked with university staff, you know, all the way up to, you know, the Vice Chancellor, trying to get changes in a variety of different areas. So I think that the one thing I can provide if I was to be elected was I'd really be able to hit the ground running, because I have those connections already made. You know, I have plans to look at the accessibility of campus and really develop a strategy so that we can develop our campus to make it more accessible, but to also reach our carbon goals, our goals of carbon neutrality even sooner. I've already fostered those connections, so that would mean that I would be able to hit the ground running.
Thank you so much, Jess. That was very good. Mariana.
Can I have the question repeated?
Yeah, of course, sorry. They're quite long, sorry about that. So tell us what you think you would bring to the role. So that can be previous experiences or your experience of being a student in higher education.
Okay, I think if I'm elected, I think part of this job is teamwork. So I think I would bring that. I am great for working with people, creating an environmental, a healthy environment to work with. I'm very approachable, outgoing, friendly face. So I think that's key for this role. And yes, just share my experience, the tools that I've used here at uni to make me happy and proactive. Skill center, the support center, well-being, societies, and make that accessible, easy, and the best tool for everybody.
Amazing, thank you so much. Could I please have Martina go next?
Right, so I was lucky enough to have quite a few experiences as in a position of like a leadership position. So I'm currently a welfare inclusivity officer at one of the biggest clubs in our university, which is volleyball. And I've also been, you know, in school councils before in schools, and I've been playing volleyball for 10 years where I was a captain of the team. So that's definitely some of the experience I would love to use as a future community officer, possibly. During those years, I'm very grateful for all these experiences to shape my character the way it is, and I'm very happy to bring whatever I've learned for past 20 years of my life into our BAFT community and make the community as good as possible.
Perfect, thank you so much. That was really great. Could I please have Benji go next?
So I feel like for a role like this, it's very important to be very visible throughout the community, and I feel like I've done that very much so, whether that's in the co-founding of a completely new society, the university, shout out to Drum Bass Society, or whether it's working at the SU. I feel like these have allowed me to have the skills in order to be more outgoing, which I feel like is vital in order to succeed at the role. I feel like I also have previous experience. I was a teaching assistant for 9 months, so I have experience in terms of working in a workplace environment, collaborating with people, different projects, and I feel like that's a very crucial role for candidates to have, and I feel like I met the criteria.
Perfect, thank you so much. And then Cleo, finally.
So I have quite a unique mix of different experiences when it comes to work and university life that have brought a lot of qualities I think are essential for the role of community officer. So working in Wetherspoons in town has taught me to be resilient, taught me how to deal with difficult situations, which will definitely prepare me for difficult meetings with the local council and when it comes to lobbying First Bus to reduce their prices, for example. Working with children and young people has taught me to always be positive, resilient, enthusiastic. So that is something that I will definitely bring to the role. As in terms of experience, I am a big fighter for what's right. I love representing communities and representing people and fighting for what they need and what is right, whether that be housing rights or reducing prices, things like that. For example, when I came back off my year abroad, I noticed that there wasn't enough information for people going on their year abroad, especially to places like Latin America. So I fought for student involvement in those conversations, and I was present in those conversations to give advice. I also want to represent lots of different groups. For example, I co-founded the women's rugby team at...
Oh, sorry. I have to cut you off.
No
I'm
worries.
so sorry. But that was a really good list of a lot of things you've done. That was very good. Sorry about that. So we're going to move on to the next question. The community officer has a wide remit covering international students, underrepresented groups, housing, welfare issues, and local community relations. How would you manage such a wide remit? Mariana. Sorry, it's a very long question.
Can you repeat the final?
Yeah, so the community, sorry, I'll just read the whole thing. Is that okay? The community officer has a wide remit covering international students, underrepresented groups, housing, welfare issues, and local community relations. How would you manage such a wide range of tasks and issues?
I think I would start with societies. Societies are a way to, well, they already hopefully are getting representation from their committee members of their society. So I would talk to them first and get some feedback and concerns on what they think their communities are experiencing and move from there.
Yeah, very good answer. Thank you so much. Could I have Martina go next?
So yes, I agree. There's a lot of responsibilities and a lot of things that are worth focusing on, but that's not a problem at all. I think for any of us, if we are elected as a community officer, we are able to handle all of those. By what I would do is divide every task and divide everything into categories. The beautiful thing about Bath community is that we are very diverse culturally and socially, but another beautiful thing is that we are also a whole, like a body system. This is, you know, we are divided into parts, so it's not a problem to handle all of the different things because I will have projects focused specifically on the welfare, specifically on addressing the cost of living crisis by collaborating with local businesses in town, for example. So we have provided space to study and also support the local businesses, which is also good from the environmental point of view. And I think I have to finish now, but there's so much more.
No, thank you so much. That was really, really good. Could I have Benji go next?
Do you mind just repeating the question for you one more time?
Yes, of course, no worries. So, the community officer has a wide remit covering international students, underrepresented groups, housing, welfare issues, and local community relations. How would you manage such a wide remit?
So I feel like one of the things that like attracted me to the role of community officer was like how wide it was, how much influence you have over different spheres. And I feel like when you look at all of those issues, apart from maybe the local council one, it all comes down to student representation. And I feel like as long as student representation is heard within the university, whether that's ensuring that international students have their voice heard and don't just seclude into groups and that they're well integrated, or same with postgraduates, that they're well integrated through the use of like new mixers or introducing new societies that allow people to meet each other, I feel like it would be a very manageable task, and yeah, I feel like I'd be good at it.
Perfect, thank you so much. Could I please have Cleo go next?
So for me, as Benji said, the wide remit is really, really exciting and a really great opportunity. The important thing would be to have regular meetings. I think this is really, really important and is the practical answer to managing such a wide remit, and to monitoring how societies and diversity groups and international students and other students who are living in private accommodation and accommodation on campus, how they feel about the current situation they are in, and how the policies that I hope to implement is impacting their daily lives, and what more we can do to implement the things that they want. Alongside that, I would organise regular surveys for students to fill in with lots of entries into cash prizes and things like that to hopefully increase engagement. But again, the regularity of these meetings and surveys I think is a really, really important thing to keep up to date with how the SU is acting for our students.
Perfect, amazing, thank you so much. And then finally, Jess.
Thank you. I think my answer to this is twofold. I think that for me, the two main things that you would need to prioritise is your time management and your teamwork. I think with time management, I've mentioned it before, but you know, the skills I've developed over the last 3 years would really mean that I would be able to manage my time effectively so that I can look at so many different issues at once. I think, it's been said, but the wide remit is something that's exciting about this role, the potential to meet so many different people from so many different backgrounds and, to go into the local community outside of the university. I think that's something that's really exciting. And then regarding the teamwork aspect, the teamwork aspect of the role, we can look at it and say, you're the community officer, but at the end of the day, you're 1/6 of the SU officers. You're an officer team. You're doing it together. You're not, yes, you've got your own remit of what your job falls under, but at the end of the day, there's 6 of you and you delegate your tasks between you and you prioritize the students as a whole. You're not going it alone.
Perfect. Some really, really good answers. Very well done, everyone. We're going to move into the next question, which is also a bit of a longer one. Sector research suggests that more than ever, students are experiencing loneliness and isolation whilst studying for their degrees. As community officer, what would you do to ensure that students living both on and off campus feel part of a community of students? Could I please have Mariana go first? Sorry.
All right. Well, there's so many things you could do, but I think from my own experience, engagement from your representatives and the ASU and all the emails you received from and the advertisement you received from the first few weeks that you become a student really helped me find my place at university. So I would continue to add to that, improve that, get feedback to see what we're missing. But yes, I think advertising in every platform that the ASU has for students to know what is offered to them and that they can be able to engage and what problems they're having that they are not fully engaging or don't want to be such as outgoing at the first few weeks of university.
Perfect, thank you. Right on time. Very well done. Martina.
Sorry, if you could repeat that question one more time, please.
Yeah, sorry, I kind of butchered that. So, sector research suggests that more than ever, students are experiencing loneliness and isolation while studying for their degrees. As community officer, what would you do to ensure that students living both on and off campus feel a part of the community of students?
Thank you so much. So, yes, I think I've answered that question a little bit before, but let me dive into this a little bit more. I agree it's a big issue about the isolation and mental health support. And I think we need to talk more about how you don't have to be alone to feel lonely sometimes. And that's why I would like to create a space on campus, as I said before, with calm music and cozy blankets so that everyone can come there and just catch a breath for a second. But I also want to create open and friendly space metaphorically. So the Bath community is a community where everyone can share their thoughts and concerns. I would always be happy to listen to. I would like to have regular office hours, but make it sound a bit less official, just to grab a coffee and hear about student voice and make the actual actions out of it. So yeah.
Perfect, that was really good. Thank you so much. Could I please have Benji go next?
So I feel like my answer is separated into 3 parts. So I've said it before and I'll say it again. I feel like with the founding of new societies like happened with Drum and Bass Society, it provided a platform for people to connect. And I've had so many people within the society thanking us for providing that platform for people to connect on common interests. Because I feel like that is where friends are made, it's through common interests. Secondly, you mentioned on campus. I feel like we need to give more incentive for the hall reps to organize activities, whether that's facilitating the process, making it easier for them to organize activities. And then I also feel like many of the mental well-being activities that are organized, whether that's planting, potting, they're usually quite underfunded, very limited spaces, not many people can get on them, and I feel like it's very important to increase funding to that so that everyone can get on them, because they're a great way to meet people in a no-stress environment, really relaxed, and I feel like that'd just be a great way to cure the epidemic of loneliness that's genuinely going around.
Perfect, amazing, thank you so much. Could I please have Cleo go next?
So I have 2 policies that sort of target this. The first is I want to introduce new timetable department mixes and events. We benefited from this year in the Policy Department a little event upstairs in the SU with some free food and some free drinks where we could come and have a chat with our lecturers, with other people on our course. And it was on that night that I actually made some new friends and ended up booking a ticket to Bingo Lingo. And that was in 4th year, so I was still making friends because of that event. So I want to make these timetabled and really advertise them in lectures, at the end of lectures, by lecturers, so that no one feels awkward or strange about coming to an event like that by themselves. If it appears on your timetable, you sort of think, oh, well, I sort of have to go to that. So I want people to feel comfortable and happy in turning up to socials and things like that that appear on their timetables. And secondly, I want to expand the tea and chat sessions that already exist by introducing things like board games and having something to do during those sessions so it doesn't feel as daunting turning up by yourself just to chat. We can have a game of Monopoly or things like that. Lastly, my door will always be open to anybody wanting a chat.
Perfect, very good answer. Thank you so much. And then finally, could I have Jessica?
Yeah, thank you. I think my answer to this is twofold. I think kind of one aspect of kind of expanding an already existing policy is expanding the PAL system. I think would be really beneficial. I was lucky enough to be a PAL leader for English in my 2nd year, and I really saw the fruits of that system of, allowing different students from very different backgrounds to meet, kind of learn about each other's cultures. And I think that's such a good way to encourage cultural exchange, help international students feel really integrated. And it isn't about assimilation, it's about a celebration of multiculturalism in Bath and celebrating the diversity we have on campus. And I think building on that as a celebration of diversity, one of the key roles of the community officer, as I know from this year working with Hannah, is to support the diversity in sport groups. And I think she's done a phenomenal job at that. But I do really think that there still could be more done. I've spoken to my fellow chairs and they're really struggling with kind of lack of support to keep their groups going because they all too often become inactive because of lack of funding and support from the SU.
Perfect, right on time as well. So very good answers. Thank you, everyone. Then the next couple of questions are going to be, the next question is going to be about your manifesto. So as candidates and in your manifestos, you have all referenced the cost of living crisis. What do you think the priority for the SU and the university should be to support students experiencing financial hardship? Can I have Martina go first?
Right, let me think, because I have an answer for that. Okay, I forgot my first point, but it's okay. I will start with the other. So with the cost of living crisis, what comes is also, food also gets expensive. And I also would like to focus on this aspect. And I would like to promote the things that are already happening on campus, but not a lot of people know about. And that includes the lunchbox and the value meals that go way beyond just, jack potatoes. It's also on every other, I worked, by the way, on food outlets on campus. So I have an experience and I'm very happy to promote those actions and recommend them actually. So, and also half price food that goes when the food outlets are closing. So all of these things like that people don't know about. I would also like to talk about the financial support that the university provides, and that includes the SU Fund, Hardship Fund, short-term loans, and again, I have also experience in using those. So not only I can help with the administrative process, I can also mentally support the ones in need of those supports. Yeah, thank you.
Perfect, thank you so much. Could I please have Benji go next?
Yeah, of course. So I feel like when talking about students who are experiencing economic hardship, I feel like it's very important to focus on those on the lower end of the bracket. Like, many of us are very privileged in that we haven't had to take out bursaries, we haven't had to need our student loan is able to cover our cost of living. We've been very fortunate, I've been very fortunate in that, but I feel like more awareness needs to be raised for the fact that bursary levels have gone from £3,000 down to £1,000 and £1,000 food and drink credit, which is not an acceptable decrease. That's not something which you, as a low-income student with no support from your family, you can't survive off of that, especially when retail outlets are charging, especially when food and drink credit isn't valid in Fresh, and it's only valid in the market where food is double the cost, and you're only allowed to spend that food for, in retail vendors. It's just not acceptable, and I feel like that's one of my main campaign points that needs to be addressed.
That was a very good point. Thank you so much. Could I please have Cleo go next?
I want to increase the range of £1.50 value meals on campus because these are the only meals that I can afford. And frankly, I am a bit tired of jacket potato and beans. I had it today because it was all that I could afford, and I just thought how if I could have a bit of salad on there, add some fruit and maybe a yogurt for £2.50, that meal would be affordable and nutritious. So that is what I want to bring in. I also want to improve the BathGo app to build up a points system to be able to get discounts across campus on the food outlets. Bus-wise, I want to lobby First Bus to reduce their prices or provide more buses. And I also want to raise awareness for funding through the SU. So I myself, as part of Dance Society, I've accessed some financial help when it came to coming to competitions, when it came to travel and costumes, and that help was amazing. I wouldn't have been able to compete in competitions and things like that should this help have not been available. So I want to spread awareness of this help because I only found it through searching online and things. So I really want to make everybody aware that that is available and you can do the things that you want to do. Enjoy the things you want to do.
Perfect, amazing. Thank you so much. Can I please have Jess go next?
I think, as has already been identified by the rest of the candidates, is that cost of living is obviously a huge issue for students. You know, we say about the changes to the Bath bursary, that was something that I recognised myself. I had it flagged to me by a number of different students, and that actually meant that I went forward and submitted a standpoint to Summit. So it was something that I discussed with the SU officers and a range of students at Summit, and it was something that we all agreed was a really important issue that was facing students, and now the ball has kind of we have kind of gotten the ball rolling in hopefully preventing those changes and bringing back the full bursaries, because we know that students need them, especially students with disabilities who can't access PIP payments, international students who can often have issues accessing the hardship fund. But also, like Cleo has just mentioned, I have points on my manifesto about increasing the range of £1.50 value meals and also bringing that to include drinks as well.
Perfect, thank you so much. Mariana.
Well, I agree with Benji that some of us have had a very privileged finance situation at uni, but I think it's all a teamwork at the end of the day. We're not expected to resolve as on our own community officers the whole of the cost of living crisis. I would love to pick up where the former officers stand. But in my manifesto, I did address the bank food, which I think it helps. I've been using them since I've been here, but also focusing on the quality of the food. And then, well, I got my job through uni, so I also added that to maybe have more platforms or ways to encourage students to find a job, to get an income, an important income, and also develop their skills, which is both things that I would tackle as a community officer.
Amazing, thank you so much. So we're going to move on to some questions that were asked by students either on Instagram or through our Menti link. But they're still very nice questions, don't worry about it. So a student has asked, the university is set to cut bursaries for our most deprived students. What would you do about this as a SU community officer? Benji.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. One of the key campaign points which I'm pushing towards is bringing back pre-bursary levels. The fact that it's gone from £3,000 credit into your account down to £1,000 eat and drink credit and £1,000 is just terrible, and that's no way that any regular student can live off of that, especially in the cost of living crisis where rents are going up, prices are going up, everything's going up. To then decrease the bursary instead of increasing it is just insane. And another point I wanted to push forward was on top of bringing the bursary back to pre-2024 levels, I also wanted to bring back bursaries in the form of food and drink credit, which is a very affordable way which the university can provide extra support. I'd like to clarify this is extra support, not instead.
Perfect, thank you so much. That was really, really good. Could I have Cleo go next?
So as I've said, affordability is at the heart of my campaign. And not only do I want to expand the range of £1.50 lunches on campus, but for those people who want to save even more money and bring their own meals to campus, I want to increase the amount of microwaves and introduce new hot water taps, because I'm sick of asking people to fill up my coffee cup with hot water and then rolling their eyes because they're really sick of people asking them. This means that students can save money on the everyday things, and it means that they can then, the cost of living crisis will have such a less impact on them. And I also want to, as I said, spread the awareness of help when it comes to funding societies, funding costumes and travel and any equipment you might need for societies, so that we're not constantly worrying about money. We can still do the things that we love and have some money left over at the end to buy a £1.50 brand new meal.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Amazing. Could I please have Jessica next?
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, it was a point that I flagged at Summit, and I recognise it's a really important point for a lot of students. But I think on top of reinstating the former amount that the bursary was, I think it's really important to note that international students aren't getting enough financial support through these bursaries. They're not eligible for accommodation bursaries, and the only scholarships that are available are merit-based, and they're not needs-based. So it means that a lot of international students who come from more socio-economically deprived backgrounds are really struggling, and this is something that really impacts especially students who already are from marginalised groups, so students with disabilities, students from ethnic minority backgrounds who may not be able to work alongside their degrees. So they rely on this money in order to fund their degree. You know, we know that student finance isn't going up. I was fortunate enough to attend a meeting with the Department for Education, and they've confirmed that. So I think the bursary is really the way forward to supporting students financially.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Could I please have Mariana go next?
Well, again, I would have to learn more on the job and as a team effort to resolve a cost of living crisis. But focusing on my manifesto, I would lobby for more and extra support. For example, I used to do, a sports society that I can't now do because of the cost of living crisis. The spendings are much higher. So I would look away for university to help in that regard and any other possible way, not only sports, but also nutrition, for example, that I've already mentioned.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And then Martina.
Yes, it's me now. So as an international student who came to UK just before Brexit, I applied for the Home Office so I can study here. However, I don't have any maintenance help. So I know exactly how it feels to struggle financially. And on top of that, to have the bursaries reduced, it's a bit ridiculous. So that's why in a position of the community officer, I want to push the SU and the services to, as was said before, obviously brought the bursaries back, but also, as I mentioned before, promote the help that is already there. If I didn't spoke to one of my friends, I would never get the financial help that I turned out deserved. So I will make sure that it's already promoted, and I will also be there for everyone who is in financial and any other need, as I've been there as well. And also promote things like student ambassador position, where any of us could have a very nice, interesting job, have some money, and as well as get to university a little bit more.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So the next question is also from a student, and it says, a student has asked, what will you do to help with the volunteering society? Cleo.
So volunteering-wise, I want to make volunteering opportunities more accessible. So this means that advertising the amount of hours that a volunteering role needs, introducing some one-off volunteering opportunities, for example, helping at a local food bank or the soup kitchens that we have in Bath, really pushing these, putting funding into advertising them, again, using lectures for shout-outs, not just emails, because a lot of us just ignore them, which is so fair, but using lecture shout-outs, posters all around campus, to say, for example, if you've got 2 hours on Wednesday the 28th and you want to do some volunteering, contact this email, sign up here, make it an easy and quick process so that we can have more volunteers and more students can experience helping others.
Can I please have Jessica next?
Yeah. I've had this question asked to me by some volunteering societies, actually, and it's something that I cover quite heavily in my manifesto in regards to the support offered to students. I've worked with a lot of different volunteers this year, and I think that the main thing they've told me is that they almost didn't feel prepared going into their roles. You know, something I've been working on this year with campus events is disability awareness training for staff, but really thinking we could then expand this to student leaders, you know, academic reps, power leaders, but also people in volunteering society, so they really feel that they're equipped to take on their roles and they're not taking on more than they can handle, or they're kind of having to, you know, make decisions that they're not really sure how to. So really making sure that they feel equipped and that also they're getting the support they need whilst they're on the job. Obviously volunteering is a great thing, but you know, it can lead to compassion fatigue, and I think that that's something that should really be avoided, and we should really be supporting our volunteers to avoid that.
Amazing, thank you. Could I please have Mariana go next?
Right, so volunteering, it's been with me since I'm like 15, and I have volunteered with the uni and outside the uni. So I think, well, part of my manifesto is that I would love to volunteer and study, but that wasn't really my case when I'm studying, but I love to bring that and talk to the Bath community to help us, or talk to other organizations to see if that can be possible, studying and volunteering. I'd find out by a fair in one of my first weeks at a uni, and I did one, and then that was it. I couldn't go on with it. And then, well, I did another one in Africa, but what I would wish for that one is maybe be able to connect with other persons at uni that did the same experience, so I could, well, see what I was getting into, because there was a lot of well-being issues that I addressed to uni, but that I would love to know beforehand.
Perfect. Okay, Martina, go next.
Right, so I would definitely like to support the volunteering opportunities and, as was said before, make them more promoted so that everyone knows how to sign up, make it a bit more smooth if it comes to from the logistic point of view. But also I would like to have more societies, the sports societies and not and beyond that, to take part of in those volunteering events, and also to have better communication between the societies, across the societies, so that they can collaborate, because obviously then we have bigger groups to actually make the actions and contribute to a specific, like International Women's Day or the Movember, and all of those beautiful events that a university promotes and implements to support them within societies and beyond, across, you know, all of us gathering together and volunteering, putting our heart out there.
Perfect, thank you so much. Could I please have Benji go next?
Yeah, of course. So I think this is like linking to like two main points, which is first, there needs to be an increased awareness for volunteering opportunities. I feel like, as Cleo mentioned, the newsletter just isn't good enough. There need to be flyers, there need to be more advertising, there needs to be more Instagram takeovers, which is something that I would definitely allow to happen under if I was a community officer role. And then secondly, I believe that there needs to be increased funding to community groups, whether that's RAGS or Nightline. RAGS, whether it's giving them increased funding for them to host bigger fundraising events. Bigger fundraising events means more turnout, a better event, more people likely to turn up, more money raised. And then secondly, for like Nightline, so they ensure that all of the participants, all of their needs, and whether that's food or drink whilst they're on shift, are catered for. Cool.
Perfect, thank you. Sorry, can I just check you guys all answered the question, because I got a little distracted. Was there, yeah, everyone answered it. Okay, just double checking, good. So this is an imaginary situation. So imagine you guys are the vice chancellor, the top boss of the university, really, for just one day. If you had unlimited money, unlimited resources, all the opportunities in the world, what would you do to improve the lives of students at Bath? So just get as creative as you want. Jess?
Thank you. I think this is a really good question. I've really enjoyed listening to all the other candidates' answers to this earlier in the day. But I think the main thing I would focus on is accessibility. I think that's something that I've really been focusing on, especially over the past year as DAG chair. But I think that, you know, when most people hear accessibility, they think the physical side of it, and I think that's a big part of it, you know, developing that plan to develop our campus that would ensure that it is as accessible as possible, because right now it just isn't good enough. The physical accessibility isn't good enough, and the funding that campus infrastructure have to put in accessible infrastructure isn't good enough. But I think it's also things like making university financially accessible and making it emotionally accessible. So meaning that working with students to ensure that they have the best experiences possible, that all of their feedback is heard. just to really ensure that they're going to have the best opportunity, because at the end of the day, accessibility and inclusivity benefit us all.
Perfect. Very good answer. Thank you so much. Could I please have Mariana go next?
I would say I would invest in infrastructure, university accommodations in the city. All infrastructure, more modern and better buildings, ventilation. And well, going with my manifesto, I would definitely invest in a cozy corner. So pubs, pillows, a place where you can unwind, relax, sleep here at uni on the city. Yes.
Really good answer. Thank you so much. Martina.
Hi, can I just say I love this question, and all my greetings to the person who wrote that. It's a really good one. So if I had all these opportunities, I think I would focus on the cost of living crisis, because it just touches so many aspects of life of all of us. I would definitely look into housing, the opportunities how to find a house that is in a good condition, and also again with the food, how it gets more and more expensive. So I would definitely invest in that, so that students are not living off just like noodles or frozen pizza or something that is very like to go, but actual proper meals, nutritious meals. Because again, it's a much deeper rooted issue, because the way you eat, it affects the way the way you sleep, where you sleep and how you sleep. It all affects the way you live and what you put into university life and the way you study. It's just all very, very connected. So yes, I would start with the quality of life. Yeah.
Good, thank you. Very good answer. Thank you so much. Could I please have Benji go next?
Yeah, of course. I feel like a lot of buildings and whether that's accommodation or rooms, they're like some sort of like 1960s brutalist fever dream. And I feel like renovating it would genuinely do wonders for the student well-being, whether that's Norwood. As much as I love Norwood, it is a bit it is a bit old. But additionally, I also feel like there are many societies and volunteering groups that when they become the new committee, they inherit the debt of the previous committee. So I know multiple committees where they're £600 in debt. They can't organise any events, and they have no way of paying off that debt, because how are you going to pay off that debt if you can't organise any events? And forgiving all of that would be number one. And then number two would also be bringing back bursaries to pre-2024 levels.
Perfect, amazing. Thank you so much. And then Cleo.
So I would increase provisions. Now that's like a word that covers so much, but under that I would develop loads of spaces for individuals, spaces where you can have individual meetings, where if you have an online therapy session where you have a room on campus to be able to do it. I would also increase the amount of social spaces we have, make them a lot more chilled, not just surrounded, not just places to eat, but places to socialise and with comfy sofas and things. Talking about sofas, this is a random point, but it did pop into my head. I would improve the quality of the sofas in all of the accommodations, so they're not blue plastic yucky things. I also, as a fun one, I would have a huge happy hour with £1 pints and like 20p soft drinks, and invite everybody down to the lake to enjoy that. So I really hope that I can do that one day.
I would love that happy hour. That sounds amazing. Thank you so much. Okay, so we do have a bit of extra time. So I've got a personal question that I'll try to explain it really well, but it's not written down anywhere. So I don't know how much you guys know about this, but as part of the top 10, one of the main projects I've been working on this year is a early arrival pre-sectional for international students. So first year students get to come to university a couple of days early. They have some extra support, some workshops, help them sort their bank account, medical center, things like that. So obviously this is going to be happening in September when I'm sadly gone. So how would you guys make sure that this goes as well as possible, and hopefully in the years coming it will be not only carried forward but also increased in number of students and scope and size and investment and everything. Just out of interest, I would love to know. I don't really have an order for this, so I'll just pick a random one from earlier. Jess, would you like to go first?
Yeah, I think this is something that me and Hannah actually spoke about earlier. It was something that I remember reading on her manifesto a year ago, and I really thought it was a good idea, and I've really, really enjoyed seeing the work that you and Gigi have put into it. I think it's an absolutely amazing initiative, and you should be really proud of it. In regards to how best I would be able to facilitate it and make sure it was successful if I was elected was obviously really listening to the student voice on that issue and developing a clear criteria of kind of what students are looking for and how this can be successful. So something that I've done this year that's not directly linked to international students, but I've been developing a criteria with various different UK universities to really measure the success of disability provisions in the UK. And I think it's the exact same model that I would use to really measure the success of this event, because it's obviously something that's so important and we really, really want to see succeed.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Could I please have... Oh, which one was that? Could I please have Mariana go next?
All right. So, early arrivals for international students. Well, I think I would be very much on top of everything that we are going to provide to the students. Each aspect, be very, very much involved and have a great team to meet our deadlines, our activities, and that everybody feel welcomed. Maybe have a few activities and events also, have a few trips. Pretty much.
Yeah, thank you so much. Martina.
Lovely. I love this question because I love this initiative that you introduced. And I definitely want to pick up on that. So, one of the things I talked in my manifesto was a buddy system and then language-based mentorship program. And both of them are there to match and pair students who are the newcomer students with the older students who speak the same language ideally, or are from the same background, the same culture, so that when you come and you move out from your house, maybe even for the first time, as it was in my case, you have there someone who speaks your language, at least to kind of have a smooth transition into a new environment and new country. And also when I came and I had my accommodation, I was the only international in my Eastwood accommodation. The 12 other flatmates were all from UK. And that's why I think I also want to make sure that accommodations are all diverse and mixed, so it's all easier for everyone to integrate. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Benji.
So of course, I think as the consensus here is, I feel like it's a great initiative. As a student from Spain, I would have greatly appreciated this 2 years ago. And I feel like it'd be very important not only to be visible throughout the entire thing, whether that's going around each accommodation blocks personally, introducing yourself, giving them a point of contact, giving them an email, just making your face seen and recognized. But I also feel like it'd be very important for the international students to make sure that you're not just separating all the international students into their own different countries, because then you will lead to the same issues that you have now where you just get groups from each different country. I feel like it'd be imperative to organize it so that there's a diverse mix in each accommodation.
Perfect, thank you. And then Cleo.
So one of the points in my manifesto is developing tailored welcome packs for every new student at Bath, whether that is a undergrad or a postgrad. I came to Bath 2 weeks late because I was working and I had no idea what was going on because my house had already opened their house welcome pack. So I didn't get access to any of that information. So for international students, this welcome pack would be given to them in that time period, and it would have detailed information on, what the NHS is and how that system works, because it's so different across the world and it's such basic information that, you don't know what you don't know. So I want to give that information. I also want to develop an international student society. Now, this would just be an umbrella that sort of encapsulates all of the amazing international societies we have. On my year abroad, I went on things like hikes and organised events by this international student society at a university in Chile, where I met so many other international students, not English students, but international students, people in the same boat as me. So developing that with specific events for international students at that starting period, I think will really help to foster friendships and relations and make these people feel prepared and ready for life at Bath.
Perfect. All really good answers. I feel a lot better about not being here in September this year. So thank you for that, just for giving me a peace of mind. And then finally, we're going to move on to closing statements. So it's the same as pretty much opening statements. You guys each have a minute just to say whatever you might have not had the chance to say, or just leave us with a few words before we move on to next week, actual campaigning and all the exciting stuff. So Mariana.
So as an international student, I have had a great experience at the University of Bath, and that's what I like to bring to everyone. The best, the more easiest and accessible way possible to experience that. If I am elected, I would work tirelessly to build the best community that we can. So I will focus on mental health and cost of living crisis, improving and adding to what the former officers have done. I will also focus on bringing volunteering and environmental, a more conscious green print for students and uni staff, and finally building a community. Right. So a place where everybody can feel valued and successful, empowered, academically, socially, in sports aspects. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Martina. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone, for coming and asking all the questions. I want to start with that. And I've always felt that Bath is, since I came, Bath is very inclusive, and I really enjoy my time here. And that's what I want to keep up. I would be honored to be in a position to have the power to maintain the work of the current SU, because I think they're doing a great job, and I would just feel blessed to continue that. If you're looking for someone who is very energetic and have lots of ideas to make your university life as enjoyable and memorable as possible, I think I'm the right person to vote for. And yeah, I hope you enjoy the time here. Thank you for coming.
Amazing, thank you so much. Benji.
Yeah, of course. So I feel like this boils down to why should you vote for me? I feel like you should vote for me because I'm an active member of the community here at Bath. I'm an outgoing person. I feel like being able to play a more important role within this community would be extremely important for me, and it'd be a huge honor. And being able to be in a position where I'm able to foster connections here at the university would make me really happy. So yeah, thank you.
Perfect, thank you so much. Cleo. Sorry, it's a bit of a weird order.
If you want a community officer that will stand up for your specific student needs, whether that be as small as a kettle or as large as a U1 bus, then vote Cleo for community. If you also want somebody who understands and wants to find solutions to the daily struggles that we all have of being a student in Bath, then vote Cleo for community. I have the enthusiasm, the experience and the drive to be your voice in our community.
Amazing, thank you. And then Jess.
I just want to mirror what I said before, but I want to say thank you to everyone who came out. Thank you to everyone watching online. Yeah, I really appreciate it. Yeah, I've been so lucky over the last 3 years to work with so many amazing people. It's been such a joy, and it's brought me so much fulfillment, and it's something that I'd love to continue doing. If you elect me as your community officer, I promise I'll work tirelessly for you to campaign for your views, what you want to see change, because at the end of the day, my manifesto is with students, for students, and all I'm focused on is making your student experience the best it can possibly be. So, yeah, thank you so much.
Perfect. Very well done, everyone. We do have another 4 minutes left, so I've asked previous people about their favorite biscuit or what biscuit they would be. I have asked previous candidates about what vegetable they would be, but I actually decided to switch off again. So if you guys were a kind of tea, what kind of tea would you be? There's no order, yeah. Just feel free to answer in any way.
Yeah, I've been here all day and I've heard the biscuit question, so I'd prepared an answer for what biscuit I would be. If anyone's interested, I'd be a fig roll. But no, I think if I was a tea, I think I'd be Earl Grey, so 50% green tea, 50% English breakfast. I think best of both worlds, and if you were to elect me, you'd get the best of sustainability support and accessibility.
Very, very diplomatic answer, thank you. Anyone else?
I would be the exact cup of tea that I make every morning. I make a huge cup of English breakfast tea with soya milk. And that's the thing that gets me ready for the day. It gets me energized. It makes me feel warm. It's a positive experience. It's happy. And I feel like all of those things represent who I am. So I'd definitely be my big cup of English breakfast tea with soya milk.
That sounds lovely. Anyone else?
Yeah. I was not prepared for that question. I prepared myself for a lot of questions, but that's not one of them. I think I would be the tea that I like the most, which is just black normal tea with some honey for the sweetness and some lemon for a little taste, and make it nice. So because that's, I think, reflects my personality. So yeah, that's the tea I would be.
No, that also sounds great. Anyone else?
I would be raspberry tea
Ooh.
because it's my favorite.
That actually sounds lovely. That sounds great. No pressure. You can also say if you don't like tea.
So basically, when I'm working behind the shift at the SU, I'll get a herbal tea and then I'll just add copious amounts of syrup and call it a day.
That sounds great. Thank you guys. Very well done again. And see you guys next week on the parade. I'm super excited to see all of you.